calm, focus, happiness. You're listening to a Mindfulness Mode interview. I'm your host and mindfulness life coach, Bruce Langford. I interview guests from all walks of life who use mindfulness in a lot of different ways. If you enjoy this interview today, please subscribe right here on YouTube. If you'd like to listen on another device, subscribe to our Mindfulness Mode podcast by using a podcast app and listen at the gym or in your car, wherever you'd like. You can also listen directly on our website and have a look at the show notes. Check out mindfulnessmode.com. You'll see links and other helpful information. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode of Mindfulness Mode. Reach new heights of calm, focus, and happiness on Mindfulness Mode with me, your host and mindfulness life coach, Bruce Langford. Now, I am excited today because I have Lucia with me, and Lucia is a terrific new friend that I've just met in the last few weeks, and man, does she have energy. I am telling you, she just emits all this incredible energy, and you're going to be experiencing it today. But first of all, I'm just going to say hi to Lucia, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. So how are you today, Lucia?
No pressure here to have energy. I am wonderful. I'm great, Bruce. It's such an honor. I'm so honored that you asked me to speak on your podcast. So I'm doing great. It's a sunny, beautiful day in California. So
yeah, and it looks like the sun is just flooding into your apartment. It looks beautiful there.
I'm going to look like I'm an angel in heaven, and certainly in a little bit. So this is good. I'm excited.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, Lucia is a people person, and you can tell that already. She's passionate about connecting, about learning and growing. One of her specialties is weight loss, and her mission is to build a community of women and men, she says, who have experienced sustainable weight loss by fostering good relationships with food and their bodies. She'll help you use the power of your mind to change the way you think. And of course, we all know that's what weight loss is all about, and that will help you change the way you feel. Lucia has also created a very exciting summit called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Body, which offers so much incredible value. And we'll be talking about that today. So, Lucia, what does mindfulness mean to you? Let's just talk about that right off from the start here.
I love that question too. So thank you. And thank you for that, reading that about me. It was like, oh, he's reading stuff about me, and that, yeah, that's me. So thank you for that. When you hear somebody else read your mission, it's kind of cool. Mindfulness, gosh, wow. I, for years, were bumping into walls and externally looking for answers. And didn't even know that, though. So mindfulness for me is really just that centering to, what am I bringing to the present moment? Now, I'm going to say this and maybe not be the person that always consistently does that, but we'll get into that. And it is about being in the present moment. I also teach jazzercise, a workout class. And so one of the ways that I instruct is to be mindful of your muscles and your body and your form and what you bring to that, and what it takes for your arm to do this and what your leg does. And so that kind of mindfulness even sometimes is difficult. I mean, I make a joke because, I like to be funny. So sometimes I make a joke with them that I said, okay, I see you all shopping. I need bread. I need eggs. I got to go after this class. I said, I need you to be here. I need you to be present in your body so that you get everything out of why you came here. And so they kind of giggle, but I get them, because of the laughing, because I'm like, I could see them, I need to get bread after this class. And I'm like, oh, no. If we're not in the moments, they're escaping us. And that's why I think time feels like it's flying, because the moments are going like this and we're not ever present in them and longing for them. So I'm trying, and I'm going to use the word, I hate that word trying. I hate that word. I hate the word trying, and I hate it is what it is. I hate that.
I'll be careful that I won't say, well, it is what it is, Lucia.
Certain things are what they are, and it is what it is. But I feel like it's the new way to give up on myself.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. Here's my life, and it is what it is. So it depends on how you use it. And I don't get letters. I don't want to hear emails about, oh, let me tell you. So the trying to me also means that. Trying says to me, I'm able to say, well, I tried and I failed. So I tried, but I gave up. I tried. It's not try, I'm doing. So I reframe it. Does that make sense?
Well, that does make sense. And speaking of reframing, I know that you reframed your whole life. I mean, you lived in New York, right? You lived in New York State, New York City.
No,
right?
I lived on Long Island. Sorry.
Long
Yeah.
Island.
Don't you hear it? You don't hear my Long Island?
I hear your Long Island. So you lived in Long Island. And how on earth did you get to California? Why did you decide to move across the country? Tell us your story.
Oh my God. Oh, yay. I get to tell my story. And it's funny because I was on a coaching call this morning talking about this, talking about the fact that everyone has said to me, I'll give you this post. Wow, that was so brave and courageous for you to have done what you did. And I looked at them and I said, oh, it was? Oh, I didn't even think about being brave or courageous. I just knew I had to do it. So that said, I because in the coaching call that I had, it was about giving ourselves the reverence for the things that we do so well, that I end up going, yeah, that's who I am. But here's what I got to focus in on, the things that I don't do so well, right? So I had this longing and this passion. I've been in the weight management industry for 30 years, 15 working for a corporation. Should I name it?
Yes, definitely name it.
Weight Watchers.
Oh, okay.
And so I worked for Weight Watchers for over 15 years. I had originally lost 75 pounds with Weight Watchers and became a leader, and then ultimately became the territory manager and managed a staff of 102 people out from Lake Ronkonkoma. Anybody out there from Long Island? I managed from Lake Ronkonkoma out to Montauk. Everybody knows the Hamptons. I hope they know the Hamptons.
Okay.
That was my territory. And I adored it. I ended up being a leader who was a coach, a life coach. I mean, we talked about the real stuff, not the food. It is ultimately, we can get into the food, but I'm like, we have a great program. I have recipe books. Let's talk about why you're not choosing this. Let's talk about what's standing in your way. And I loved it. I got the response from everyone. People were doing well. Others fell short. You're not going to hit everybody. So that part of the job I loved. The working with my staff I loved. And I just felt this longing for, what else is there? What am I, I was in this big house on Long Island by myself. I mean, I had like 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, half an acre land. What am I doing here? And I thought, and here's the interesting thing. It sounds kind of morbid, but I had real close friends that I went to high school with, dead. I talked to this girl 6 months prior, dead. My cousin who I was like this with, he passed away. 3 months later, his sister, 50 something years old. I'm like, I was 57 at the time. No, don't I look? No.
So this was a wake-up call then. You got a wake-up call and you just felt you had no choice. You just needed to make this change, sell your house. And how did you decide on California?
Well, so it was interesting because I have to say, just to get back to mindfulness though, in the whole process of that, because I don't want to make that sound like that was easy to do, because once I made the decision to do it and leave, it was a surrender that I've never had before, that said, because it was scary. I'm in this by myself. I was scared to death. Like, what are you going to do? And I thought, well, so I have 3 kids. One's in Tennessee. My daughter's in Philly, and one came out here. He's in the music business, and he came out to California. And I had come to visit him also. And it was beautiful out here. I'm like, you don't shovel snow? Bring it on, So in that thought of saying, I'll move to California, it was actually a drastic, from right to left.
Yes.
Right to left. And so I had to surrender though. I literally took myself to the beach. It calms me there. Mindfulness, meditation. When I go to the beach, all things. Go
Well,
here.
it's water, isn't it? Isn't it water that does that for you? The waves, you just
Yes.
start to feel so relaxed. Do you feel the tension just melting out of your body?
Belts. But it was, and I knew that. So there's a piece there, because I knew if I go to the beach, I will behave this way. So there's something about that, and then maybe we could talk about. So I went there and I said, you know what? Take this from me. This angst, take this from me. I don't want to hold on to it, and bring the people that deserve my home, that I raised my children in for 32 years. And point me in the direction that I can best serve you and everyone. Do that for me. And in 3 weeks, I sold my house. And that was my son got married. The one that went out here, he got married May 1st, 2010. No, sorry. That was my father passed away then, because he was there at the same time. He was 2 years ago, and I was out here by September. And I was like, I sold my house. I sold all my stuff in my house. That was a whole other process. And I came out here and I said, I have to do this. I have to serve. I have to give my lessons, what I'm still growing and learning, because I have a connection and I know that I can do that. So, and that was so scary, but I'm still not, I'm still in the place where it was a year, September. I've not regretted a moment of it. I just know it's right.
So as soon as you arrived in California, did you feel grounded? Did you feel like this is the place for you right now?
Yeah. Yes, I would have to say you're asking that. And in that moment, I'm thinking, yeah, because there were so many emotions that came up for me. But yeah, it felt right even when I chose the apartment. I mean, it's it's my transition space, if I can say. If you talk about mindfulness, and when I get to defining meditation, and I don't do it, and then yet I do in my way. And I know you and I have talked about this even when I interviewed you on the summit, about how you can make it you and still be at the process of it. And so I have everything. It wasn't until, it's funny, I'm dating a man who I went to school with, but I didn't know it. I didn't know him. Like I was like, oh, hi, Michael. He was like, oh, hi, Lucia. And that was it. His name was Michael too. And he graduated a year ahead of me. And then 30 years ago, moved out here to San Diego, looked me up, and we kind of hooked up. Well, P.S. he comes over to my apartment now, and I have everything set up. And I didn't even realize until he was here how I set things up. But when he came, and he has a very minimalistic apartment, very little stuff up. I don't want to say he's a guy, but he's a guy. No. So I said it. So he's walking around. I'm behind him, and he's walking around my apartment, and this is me. And in that moment, I felt myself like, what are you, embarrassed? What is that? Like all of a sudden I felt myself. And then I stopped and I said, let me look at what he's looking at and understand what it is I'm feeling. And as I looked around, I could see there are messages to me everywhere. I have a message on my mirror. If you can dream it, you can do it. Walt Disney. I have a message on a mirror above me here. Anything is possible. Never give up. I have messages everywhere you look. Go confidently in the direction of your life. In the dreams, I have messages everywhere. And in that moment, as he's looking, I went, oh my God, this is your transition space. This is where I have my mother's picture behind me. She passed away in 2013. I talk to her every day, and I go through that transition for myself. And I realized in that moment that he's looking around and I was feeling embarrassed. This is exactly where I need to be. And in the space and how I have it set up, so that I keep myself knowing what my mission is and where I am in my life and what I have to offer and what I have to grow from. I have a little tag here. I don't know if you could see this. I have messages everywhere. This says, I teach on my growing edge. And sometimes that means that I struggle. Sometimes it means that I'm chasing after my breakthrough. And because I can do that, I can see other people's opportunities. So
I want to go back to when you were a child. What were you like as a 6-year-old child? I bet you were just so vivacious and full of energy.
Look at me at 10.
Okay, move it closer to the camera so I can see it even better. Okay. Wow, yes, there you are at 10. So they got you to stand still for a second.
And I put a little note here. It says, out of confusion comes new patterns. And that was a fortune cookie. And I had another little picture, and I have her sitting here. And it's funny that you're saying this, because I want to get your question out. she's been behind now things, and I need to bring her out in the forefront. So go ahead and ask me about my child. Go ahead.
What was the thing that you loved to do the most as a child?
Oh boy. The first thing that pops into my mind is to talk to people. When we moved to Long Island, I originally was born in Huntington, but we moved to Queens. My father's from Brooklyn. My mother was from Huntington. So they met halfway. We lived in Queens before everything was on top of each other even. Because I was born in 1958. That's right. I'm saying my age, and I'm proud of it. I really am. I feel very proud I don't feel that, but
Yeah.
nevertheless, so we moved out to Long Island, and I could tell you, Bruce, I could see what I was wearing. I had my hair pulled back, a little headband on, a little yellow outfit with a little white piping, little skirt. And I sat at the bottom of the driveway, in the apron of the driveway, it's called, shaking my head like this, waiting for people to pass. And a girl passed, and I said, "Hi, I'm Lucia. I just moved here. What's your name? Where do you live?" I could not wait to speak to people. I loved speaking to people. And between that and my reckless abandon of dancing, I loved to dance. So, and it was interesting because I always had a quick, easy, comfortable connection with people. I could probably count still, even at this age, on one hand, the people that I've had to let go of because their energy wasn't right. And it was in my face how
Right.
not right
Just
it was.
didn't work for you.
Yeah. And it was almost like it took me back, like, oh my God, I don't think I like this person. It was almost like, oh my God, sacrilege. Yeah. But it was interesting. And so even in that moment of that carefree, rapport, I think still I didn't trust myself.
Ah.
I think still I've come to find in the child work that I've done for myself that, because when I went to go in, I call her Chia. Her name is Chia. And when I went to go talk to Chia, she wouldn't look at me at first. And I was like, oh, this can't be good. She's not looking at me. And the first thing out of her mouth was, A, how long, why did it take you so long to come find me? And B, why didn't you trust me? Why didn't you trust that we knew what we were doing? And I just listened to her, and I said, I don't think I did feel that. And I don't know if I made the decision to do that or why I made the decision. I'm still like working on that. But ask me your question, because I think I bogarted your question.
Well, I want to talk to you about bullying, because I know that when you're a kid,
Yeah.
a lot of times you experience, now sometimes you experience being a bully. Maybe you experienced that, or maybe someone bullied you, or maybe you had an experience with someone else who was being bullied. But I've worked in this field for so long, and I always like to ask questions about this because it's related to mindfulness. It really is. Tell me, have you ever had any kind of bullying situation in your life, Lucia?
Maybe not in the sense of the definition, and again, I know everybody's definition needs to be your definition, but I think the first thing that came to me when you asked that is that I personally wasn't bullied by an external source, but I certainly bullied the crap out of myself. Honestly. I mean, I really, prior to this child work that I did, it was the not enoughness things. It was the quest for perfection and the why can't you get to that. And that to me is bullying.
And when did you realize that you were doing that to yourself?
Oh God, not until I started to really do the work. It was surrounding me, getting right with losing my weight. That was such a pivotal model for me, because it changed, it shifted the way I parented.
Right.
It shifted the way I thought about myself, because I needed to attend to the self-care of me, because I realized that if I, they do that whole mask in the airplane and it comes down, and I know it's a great imagery. We're overusing it, and I've overused it too, because everybody goes, yeah, I get it. Put the mask on and then help everybody else. And we mitigated even the metaphor, right? However, it's true. And I realized, so for my parenting, I realized that if it's my job to teach my kids to live in the world without me, and if I am, and so that A, helped me parent better, and B, I was able to now take care of Lucia and model what that needed to look like to my children. But in that process, I realized how I bullied myself in all of that thinking, and it was all, I bullied myself in the thoughts. The thoughts definitely were thugs. They were not like the ones that could come up and nurture me were pushed down for sure. And I allowed to nurture that negative self-talk, which is why I'm so passionate about change your thinking.
Right.
The way you look at things.
So how did you change it for yourself?
I had to get real with that. I had to focus in on, like I started before, like everybody sees how brave and courageous it was for me to come here. And I'm like, well, whatever. I had to turn around the good gifts that I had to give myself and everybody, mostly myself. Like, everything, in my opinion, comes from nurturing and honoring yourself and making you, and the quest for being the best that you can be in yourself. Because if I'm not, I can't give that then, right? If I'm not right with me, I can't give enough of that. So I really had to give it a voice. It's almost like letting the little girl talk too. Like, why didn't you trust me? I didn't speak at all to her because I knew that if I spoke to her, it would have to be with honesty. It would have to be with empathy, but I feel like she needed to hear herself talk to me.
Right.
And I needed to also give myself, I wrote down everything I would tell myself about why I wasn't good enough, why I didn't deserve it, why I wasn't worthy. And I let it, I had a flow, like, so that stream of consciousness writing.
Mm-hmm.
I had to write it because I had to read it over and over again. Like, we can speak it. Sometimes we speak it, which is great because whatever, it goes back into our ears, right? But I might not always remember all the words and all the emotions until it's out on paper. I remembered reading something I journaled and I went, oh my God, that's right. I really felt like that. And, forgetting it, it's up here. And I also felt like if I spilled it out onto the paper, it's out of me. It doesn't have to stay in here in the tape that plays. And I don't have to give it the airtime that I was giving it. And then I promised myself that if I gave myself a negative comment, I had to follow it up with a positive comment, a positive, nurturing comment about myself.
So some of us would say that you worked through this by journaling. You just kept writing and writing and writing, but then you went back and you reread it over and over.
Yeah, I put it next to me because when you asked me about books, I said, I have a lot of books about what means mindfulness to me. So my gratitude journal is, and I use this, I write in it, and I didn't give it, and I have pictures and things that matter to me. And, I didn't give myself rules. I don't work well with rules, if I can say it like that. Like, you have to journal every night, and every night better be, and if I don't, here's what happens, why I don't like go with rules. If I don't journal or I don't write it down, all right, see, you suck at that.
All right. Okay. You beat yourself up.
Boom, boom, boom. Here she comes.
Yeah.
And I know that I have a masculine energy about myself. And my coach said to me, it's about turning your masculine energy into powerful feminine energy. And I went, what is that? When he said it to me, I went, powerful feminine energy. Wow. I never thought of it that way because I had been behaving in a masculine way.
Okay.
My whole life in terms of survival, because I'm, divorced twice with stories of, I know my stories, but it was what I brought to that, and surviving that as a woman, keeping her home, being in the workforce. So everything had to be looking like, look, I got my muscle out. That's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I let go of the feminine energy. The powerful feminine energy is different. That was a different way to look at it. And so that beat up and that perfection, which is again a self-worth issue, I had to be much kinder to it. So I don't give myself rules. Write in your journal. Don't write in your journal.
Right.
Give yourself 3 things. Don't give yourself. If I was able to do that, then I could see the benefit when I did do it, and I felt more loving to myself. So.
Right. Well, it sounds like you've always been helping people, but I want to know how you decided to start a summit, to create this summit, which is incredible. Change your thinking, change your body. You've got all these fabulous speakers on there. When did this idea come to you, and how did you put it all together?
God, it's kind of a labor of love because it's a lot of work.
I bet it is.
And it's interesting. What I love about it, just to say on the hindsight part of it, because it didn't start yet. It airs on the 27th of April, and it runs for 21 days there. And, we'll get information out about that. But it was a labor. So I also know, I was talking to my son about this, like when you work at the ground level of anything and you do every job, you know how important it is and what it requires. And so
Right.
you know that when you ask people to help you and how to help you, you know what that's all about. So I appreciate the lessons that I learned in the journey of all of this too. But for me, it was, like I'm known for, it was Wayne Dyer who hooked me on, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I was like, that's brilliant. And from that moment, and it really was so long ago that I read that, I just lived like that. And I thought more people need to hear this, not just from me, but from all of the thought leaders that are out there, people who coach in that respect, even regardless of what, your niche is, if you will. Most people will start to say, give this another meaning. How could you look at that differently, right? Most people, coaches, I think genuinely, both of those words, want to offer that to people because you have the answers, right? So I thought, here is people who respect me and who know me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the biggest community yet. And I really want a bigger community. And I wanted to really have all of the speakers that I had, the experts in what they do and how they do it, come and give their point of view on what change your thinking, change your body. And quite honestly, I put body in there. I love the change your thinking, change your life. Whether it's got to do with your body, your relationships, your whatever, it will absolutely, if you can give it a different meaning and look at it differently, all of a sudden things look different and you go, oh, right. Like it's amazing when it happens. Oh, I never thought of it that way, which is my favorite thing that comes out of anybody's mouth. I never thought of it that way. I'm like, hallelujah. Excellent. We're on the right path, right?
Yeah. And it's terrific to hear so many different views about how to change your thinking, because
Absolutely.
like you say, you can learn it from one person, but then to hear it from another person, it just gives you a different perspective. And Mindful Tribe, this is going to be an awesome opportunity because it is a free summit. I'm thrilled, Lucia, that you invited me to be a speaker on there. And I'm just so excited to meet the other speakers as well. But Mindful Tribe, you can sign up for it. Check it out, mindfulnessmode.com/CYT Summit. Change your thinking. That's what it stands for, CYT Summit. Go there, check it out, sign up because it is free and it's a great opportunity to hear so many speakers. But I want to ask you about a couple of the speakers. I know JJ Flizane.
Yes.
She's awesome. I interviewed her for my show. Tell us about JJ and some of the things that she's sharing on there.
Oh boy, I adore JJ. She has a point of view and she is passionate about her point of view. And she's very thoughtful about the way she presents herself to the world in terms of your physicality.
Yes.
And the emotions that surround it there, because that's what I loved about what people brought here, and even her, that we talked about physicality, the foods that you feed yourself, even create a physiology about you that then turns into a psychological something, and why your thoughts go there. Everything matters. And I loved the energy that JJ brings to this summit. In her knowledge, she's got a lot of knowledge about your body.
She really does.
How it works. Yeah, absolutely. And I've taught, I told you I'm an instructor also. And so I've gotten into a lot of the way your body is, and she absolutely has your best interest at hand. I love that. And she sort of, molds it to who you are, which is, I got that from every speaker also. It's about, figuring out you, not the masses.
Right.
You.
Right. Tell me about John Brubaker. Tell me about him.
John Brubaker. Yeah. Coach Brew. Oh my God. He was so fun. And he's a coach. So he started, and it's so funny because you're going to hear some backstories, and I love people's backstories.
So do I.
Why they're at where they're at. And it's no coincidence. It's no like happenstance. It's not like, oh, this is what happened. And after, it was meant to happen to you so that you could get on the path you're meant to be on. Absolutely. I stand firm on that. And so and he has a lot of good backstory that he talks about. So I won't do a spoiler. I won't be the spoiler alert,
Yeah.
And
tell me about Wendy Higdon. I want to know about her.
Oh, Wendy. So Wendy, well, wait, I wanted to first tell you about Coach Brew, because he references how we have coaches from birth to through our schooling. And then he goes, millennials, it's not your fault, but then boom, it dropped, right? So I really want you to tune into him. Wendy Higdon. So here we go. I go, oh my God, I was researching the topic, change your thinking, change your body. And bam, she wrote a book. Change your thinking, change your body. Change your mind, change your body, she said. So I was all like, finding Wendy Higdon, and I want to hear what she has to say. And she has a really great, the title of her email, I titled it One Marshmallow or Two, just to pique some curiosity, because she talks about that experiment with little children in offering them one marshmallow or two. And it was a really great, analogy that she made there too. Yeah, I enjoyed Wendy. She's very sweet. Everybody was so passionate about what they do. And that gave me goosebumps completely, just to see how passionate about what they do and what they want to bring to the world. I felt like I was, when you're in, the energies are contagious when you're in with the right, like-minded people. Oh.
Well, I'm looking at this list, and I think there are over 20 speakers. Am I right?
28. I did
28.
I couldn't stop. You know what? I couldn't wait. I was like, oh my God, I love your point of view. I love your point of view. I found it to be, and I really hope everybody hangs in there with it, because the best message and the most important one, I want not only obviously our point of view, but I also want to hear from our audience. I want our audience to engage with us, to just say, that was great, but here's what I need also. Or that was great, and you made me, that helped me. I was able to move a step forward today.
Right.
Or whatever you want to tell us, because that's why we do what we do in the world, right? I want to make sure what I'm offering you is what you need, not like, let me jam in what I want to give you. You're going to take it whether you like it or not, right? Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on the format of this, Lucia. Okay. What do you do? 1 or 2 speakers a day? How does this work? And the day, again, it starts is April 27th. Wasn't that right?
Yes, it is. April 27th. And you'll everybody that signs up, you got to go to the link that Bruce mentioned. You'll sign up. You'll see my little video there, and you'll see a little sign up, so that immediately you're on the list to get the daily emails. I did do, so I did 21 days of this. And then for the extra people that I had, I coupled them with things that made sense. So for those days, you'll get a second email that'll say, at like 3:00. I don't know. I didn't pick a time. I didn't pick a time yet, but in the afternoon, you'll get a second opportunity to watch somebody else. And
so most days it's one speaker. So it's that simple. You sign up, you get an email every day with a link to a speaker. You enjoy the speaker, and then you enjoy the rest of your day. That's easy.
And they gave free gifts. Free gifts every day. Free gifts that's going to help you every day, especially with what they bring to the world. So that to me was exciting. So after the interview, you go back to the email. You'll get information on how to get the free gift to help.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I know I've been working on my free gifts, doing guided meditations. I'm offering 3 of them. So I've got water sounds in the background, because I just love going down to the river, and I hear the birds and I hear the water, and that's where I love to meditate sometimes. And so I just wanted to put that right in there to the guided meditations. So this is just so exciting.
I'm gonna appreciate that. And you asked me about a book, by the way. This is one that I found very helpful. The 1-minute meditation.
1 moment meditation. Yes. For people on the go. Now that wouldn't be for you.
But I got to tell you, it was my, I recognize the importance of meditating.
Yes.
And what it brings to me. And it's so interesting, because I know what I get out of it. And yet some days I still, I got to do other things other than start my day with that. And when I start my day with meditating, my day goes great. And so why aren't I not choosing that every day? So
right.
So again, I'm on my growing edge. But this was very helpful, and I appreciated the moments, because I'm taking them 1 moment at a time, and that's perfect.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I was just going to ask you 5 quick answer questions. And the first one, who is one person who has influenced your mindfulness practice?
Tony Robbins.
Oh, isn't he amazing? And how has mindfulness affected your emotions?
Oh, wow. It's helped me get because the emotions that stand out are always the negative ones, right? And so like in this space that I'm in, being mindful and go, like I reconciled, just talking to my mother's picture, I reconciled our relationship that I didn't see. I realized that my responsibility, my role and responsibility in that. So it has totally affected the emotion of that, because it shifted everything, even though she's passed, right? It shifted everything in the way I've looked at my, even resenting if I had that there. So, because I recognized that I wanted to see this, she gave me this, but I was here and missing this. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And so
that does.
wow, Lucia, you had responsibility in this too. So that to me was it was a moment of surrender for that. I like released my mother from that, even though she's passed,
That's amazing.
I needed it for me though, right?
Yeah.
I needed it for me. It was a forgiveness of sorts. So that mindfulness, I'm very much here in this space, literally constantly going through, what am I feeling? What are my emotions? Why is this coming up?
Right.
Is this meant to teach me? It is. What is it teaching me? So I have been immersed, even being here and then enhancing the work that I do in that, because I feel like that's important to not only for myself, but to also give, because people, I hope right now, are nodding going, oh
yeah,
I did that.
For sure.
I did that. Right. The bobblehead thing.
Yeah.
That's what when you can connect with somebody, not feel like you're in the boat rowing down the river by yourself. I'm like, get in the boat, grab your oar. We're all going, Yeah,
for sure. Tell us how breathing is part of your mindfulness practice, Lucia.
Oh, breathing. So I do that when I, especially when I make time to meditate, but I definitely breathe when I'm walking. Like I will put on a certain song, or certain, not even songs, but they're usually just instrumentals, and I can focus in on my breathing and my tempo.
Right.
And because I find that important. Even when I'm teaching my class, breathing is very important too. And there's a way to do it. So when we do abdominals, for example, so I'm always telling people, hold your abs like I was going to come punch you in the stomach. Of course, they're all like, oh, you're not gonna, right? I said, but that's different. And then you could still breathe, right? And there's still something about the way you need to breathe so that your body performs the way you want it to perform. And oxygen needs to go to your muscles so that you can do an aerobic activity. So that's important.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is important. Well, if you could recommend an app which helps you to be more mindful, is there such a thing? Do you use apps at all?
I do. And it's so funny. I had even wanted to get the woman who did the, oh my God, I can meditate. She has an app that came and it wakes you up very sweetly. Good mornings. She makes you stretch. And so, and I don't know how it's not on my phone anymore. The notification to the good morning, feel your toes in your sheets. And I was like, ooh, I was enjoying that. And so it's so funny that because that, and there was an app called Calm, I think.
Yes.
And it was, I could put the water on and hear that. So I appreciate that your gift is going to be something to do with water, because I know that immediately pushes me down to center.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have the Sharon Karn, I can't remember when she's debuted. She does sound wellness.
Okay.
And I interviewed her. She was wonderful. I interviewed her about sound. She's got the bowls, the
singing bowls.
The singing bowls, and
right.
She's got like a rare collection of them.
Very cool.
Yeah, so she's a very interesting, an interesting interview also, but about what sound does for you. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, so those are the apps that I use for that anyway. Right now, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones.
That's wonderful. And Mindful Tribe, I want to remind you of that way that you can get into this summit again. mindfulnessmode.com/CYT summit. Standing for Change Your Thinking. And this is going to be such an exciting experience. I look over this list of names and I'm like, wow, so many great people, so many terrific, knowledgeable, professional people who have so much expertise to share. And I know that quite a few of those names are familiar to me. And like Michael Neely, you have him on. He has
fun. You know him.
I do know him. He's got a terrific podcast.
Yeah.
He's been an amazing mentor to me. When I first started my podcast, he was right there to help me. I went to Podcast Movement in Texas, walked in. Here's this tall man, first man I met, first person that I really met at the event, and it was Michael Neely. What a great guy.
Yeah, he's got great energy, and it intrigued me too that he was a medieval knight. I said,
I know.
Yeah. So I'm like, wait a minute, you're so not talking about that. You've got to totally tell us about that. So yeah, he's got a great energy too. It's and that's what I love. I love that I was able to not only bring the points of view, but who you are personally, like what your spirit's like, what your persona's like, and in the delivery of even what you do. So I think that was just tremendous too. To see a passion burning in somebody is so exciting.
It is.
So exciting. And we all know, we all have it. It's just a question of flushing out the other stuff in our lives to get to that too. And that's exactly why I said, I know I was brought here. I know that's why I came without needing courage and bravery. I knew it was important. I knew that this is where I needed to be. So, and I think, and everyone knows it. Everyone knows.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Yeah. You are where you need to be. That is for sure. How can Mindful Tribe connect with you, Lucia? How can we connect with you on social media?
Oh yeah. Well, you definitely. I don't know, how do you send out these podcasts? Because I can give you all that information. But I have a business page and I have a personal page, and I usually keep them, and I really just try to throw out some things that are just good, thoughts of the day. So in terms of mindfulness, that's awesome, right? And so I'm on Lucia Ferraro for Facebook, and even I think I'm at Chia, CIA, my little girl Ferraro on Instagram, and but I'll give you all that information too. And I'm at luciaferraro.com is where the summit will be housed under events, but the rest of my website is there.
Sure.
So, however, it's interesting because the connection is all that's what matters.
Yes, it is.
It's like anything. If you find a doctor and you don't like the doctor, I'm not going back to the doctor, right? Because I'm just something, you have to invest your time and your faith and your safety and see, if we can make a safe place for you to be able to be vulnerable, that's perfect. That's perfect. All I require is willingness. You come to the door with willingness. And if we make a connection, that's it. We're gone. We're in. So.
Well, Lucia, it has been fantastic talking with you, and I'm just soaking up your energy here.
Oh, you're so I adore you, Bruce. I really have to tell you, instantly when I met you, I said, I know that this man is going to be in my tribe also. And I love that you call it the Mindfulness Tribe. I love that. I think, and because tribe to me has so many different definitions, but what an actual tribe does for each other is what I want to remind people about. That we all come together. If one person's needing something, we all come to get that. If you're the one that needs to go help and give, right? It's about a give and a take.
Yes, it is.
It really is. It really is. That's what we're meant to be as humans. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I can't wait to connect with more of the speakers on this summit and hear them all. It's going to be wonderful. So thanks again for being on. And Mindful Tribe, mindfulnessmode.com/CYT Summit. It's free. Get yourself over there and check it out and click on sign up, because that's going to be a great summit. So it's so wonderful to talk with you today, Lucia. And you have a great rest of your day.
Oh my gosh, you too, Bruce. You too. I know it's we're I love that we can come together here, and we're so far apart in geography, right?
Yeah, so true.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Take care. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, Mindful Tribe, thanks for listening to the interview today. If you've enjoyed this interview, please subscribe right here on YouTube. Or if you'd like to listen on another device, you can do that too. Subscribe to our Mindfulness Mode podcast by using a podcast app, and then you can listen anywhere, like when you're driving or riding the subway or on a bus. And you can also check out our website and have a look at our show notes. You can listen directly right there at mindfulnessmode.com. So till next time, Mindful Tribe, use what we've learned today to reach new heights of calm, focus, and happiness. Stay in the mode.